Welcome back to our ongoing series of Proofpoint and cloud archiving technologies. We've talked about the key use cases already in the past around e-discovery and supervisory compliance. In this session, we're going to talk about email storage management and the benefits that an archive provides, helping you reduce the size of your Exchange store. The key things we're going to talk about today is, first of all, how an archive can, on the one hand, provide a sustainable information access solution, but also help you reduce the burden of an ever-growing email infrastructure around Microsoft Exchange. And we're also going to talk about how, using the technologies that Proofpoint has, you can address these email storage needs with different methods to help meet different requirements that different user constituencies may have. So the key problems that organizations have today is that you want to reduce the total amount of email storage that you have within Exchange. Some people like accessing that content through search, others like their folder structure. And what Proofpoint provides is the ability to do both of those. First of all, we provide very simple methods for users to search their entire archive. Every single message that has been archived since you started archiving can be searched through a simple interface, and I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. Those search results are guaranteed as far as their performance, so you're able to have a consistent and fast user access and user experience for anybody who's searching the archive. And so a lot of users like doing search. They like having a flat folder structure, like simply going in and doing a search. However, there's also a large class of users who like having a very rich folder structure where they file away all their messages and are able to go back based on client, based on case, based on project, whatever their structure is, and they like that folder structure, and that's how they find their messages. And we want to provide the users the ability to do both of those. Search with a powerful search infrastructure and look at their messages in their native Outlook folder structure and do it whatever way they want, but together be able to save the amount of email that you have in Exchange. So what are some of the ways in which we can do that? First of all, we allow you to have shorter retention policies by moving content out of your users' mailboxes into the archive, so you're able to search for it there, reducing the content in Exchange. You're also able to stub the attachments of messages, where basically we replace an attachment with a pointer to that attachment in the archive. So you're able to still have years worth of email within Exchange, but have the size of that be reduced by 60, 70, 80% by stripping out all of the attachments. So allowing users to have this rich, powerful folder structure they may be used to. So the benefits you're going to get from this is, on the one hand, of course, less data in Exchange. This is what you're really trying to get to. Faster performance for users, faster performance overall, and a more rapid and easy to manage backup and restore process in the case that you needed to do that. So having Exchange reduced in size is very important. Also, a key benefit is by allowing users to have another place where they can gain access to our content, you get rid of PSD files. PSD files can really be a nuisance or even a nightmare for a number of reasons. First of all, they can take up a lot of space on file shares, so you're basically shifting a storage problem somewhere else. But also from an e-discovery point of view, they're extremely difficult and expensive to collect. So if you can get rid of PSD files and have all of your email either in your mail server and or in your email archive, it makes search and management of that data a lot easier. So let's look at what these two use cases are like, what it's like for a user to search through their archive, and then what stubbing does and how that can benefit you. From a search point of view, we natively integrate into Outlook or OWA, so from a user experience point of view, they can use the same tools they're used to. Now, we don't require any sort of software install or client plugin, so it's very easy to deploy, but it's natively integrated into Outlook. This is one of the key benefits of Proofpoint Archive. Basically, you create a folder, in this case it's called Proofpoint Archive by Proofpoint, but you can name it whatever you want. And when a user clicks on that, they basically get the search interface. As you can see, very simple but powerful search interface. From, to, by the way, those include autocomplete, so your Active Directory information automatically populates into that. So if I'm looking for somebody whose name is Seth, I can type Seth and their email address will automatically populate. I can put the content I'm looking for and whether the date ranges are, attachments, etc. And quickly I get my search results and I'm able to search through my messages. It's a very easy, powerful way for users to search their content. Now, searching in Outlook is important, but we know more and more users are mobile, and they're using their mobile devices more and more. So as an example, with an iPhone, we have an iPhone app. So you're able to, by free, download this iPhone app, and users can now search for their archive. They authenticate using their Active Directory credentials. They're then able to come in, type in their search criteria. all their search results come back, they can find the message they want, click on that message, read it, and take whatever actions they want with that message. So now, my iPhone, which typically might have 2-4 weeks worth of email, basically has an unlimited mailbox on it that I can access. This is one example of our mobile clients where we're able to provide this powerful search beyond your desk to anywhere where you may be. One of the key advantages of having an archive. Now, this is a search paradigm, and a lot of users are very familiar with this and comfortable with it, but other users like having their folder structure. And the problem with having everything in your folders in Outlook, where it's easy to access, very simple user experience, is, of course, as we've talked about, your file store gets larger and larger. In this example, you have an email message with a large attachment, and that attachment may take 3 megabytes, for example. With stubbing, what you're able to do is basically replace that attachment with a pointer to the archive, which is just 2K. So this message has gone from 3 megabytes down to a few kilobytes. You can see the space savings you get. Our customers, by enabling stubbing, are able to reduce their mail store size by 60, 70, up to 80%, which is a huge savings, as you can imagine, to not only disk space, but also, more importantly, to the management, to backup, to restores, etc., etc. Now, you can have very flexible policies. You can have different users have different lengths of time at which stubbing occurs, different sizes, etc. A lot of flexibility tied into, again, your Active Directory groups. How does this work? Let's say my policy says that after 30 days, I'm going to stub any attachment that's greater than 1 megabyte. This is a very typical policy that our customers have. So on day 0, as an email arrives, an email gets delivered into Exchange, and it gets delivered both to the user's mailbox as well as to the journal mailbox, standard email journaling. The email appliance, archiving appliance, grabs that message, sends it to our Proofpoint secure data centers, where they're stored encrypted in the data centers. So now you have a copy in the user's mailbox and a copy in the archives. Now let's fast forward 30 days. The policy kicks in that says I should be stubbing that attachment. What happens is overnight, so this is very transparent to the users, the archiving appliance logs onto that user's mailbox, finds that attachment, and swaps it out with an HTML pointer to the archive. So now we've gone from a few megabytes down to a few kilobytes. Now, if a user wants to access that message, first of all, it's in their same folder structure, so they can easily search for it at any time. Performance is great because the actual message itself is still in the mailbox, so they get the same seamless performance that they're used to with Outlook if the attachment was there. And only in the case where they need the attachment, they would click on that attachment, and instead of having the attachment be pulled from the mail store, it gets pulled through the appliance from the data center. So all that content which was encrypted in the data center rapidly pulled onto the user and served up to them. So you're able to get virtually the exact same user experience, but saving tremendous amount of space in your archive. So this is a capability that you can provide your users who still want to use their folder structure and live there. They're able to do so with stubbing. One example of a customer who leverages this tremendously is National Financial Partners. National Financial Partners is a large financial services organization who uses Proofpoint Archive for e-discovery as well as for compliance, but one of the key benefits that they were able to get is reducing the overall storage requirements by 60%, which by their estimates reduced the total cost to manage their entire messaging infrastructure by about 35%. So they were able to justify this project based on e-discovery and compliance, but because of that, able to reduce the overall size of their entire messaging expense by 35%. A great benefit to this Proofpoint customer. So to summarize who Proofpoint is a leading provider of email security, compliance, and archiving solutions for mid to large organizations around the entire world. Proofpoint provides capabilities around inbound email protection, Proofpoint Enterprise Protection, that helps organizations protect themselves against inbound attacks, spam, viruses, malware, phishing attacks, etc. Proofpoint Enterprise Privacy, which looks at outbound communications and allows organizations to provide policy around private or confidential information, whether it's blocking that content, quarantining it for review, or encrypting it with Proofpoint encryption that allows them to ensure that all the data is encrypted as it's sent out to the end users, allow them to comply with best practices as well as with regulations such as HIPAA and Gramm-Leach Bliley. And of course, Proofpoint Enterprise Archive, which we've been talking about today. All of these technologies leverage the cloud to provide the power, but you can deploy them in many different ways, whether it's on-premises, through appliances, virtual appliances, in the cloud, or hybrid combinations of all of those. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.